Hi, my name is Bethany. This is a knitting podcast. If you're here for the knitting, great. If you're here to figure out what this video is all about, great. I know this video is earlier than I normally do another video, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But if you're new here, everything that I talk about is going to have some type of link or reference in the video description box in the bottom. So if you're like me and you're new to knitting podcast, when I was new to knitting podcast, I was like taking notes like I was in college until I realized it was in the description box below. So you don't need to keep track of anything. If you see something that you like or you hear about something that you like, there will be a link for you in the description box. So let's get started. I have my hot chocolate. As you know, I am just a hot chocolate person. And grab your drink, grab your knitting, grab your thing that you're making. If it's not knitting, it doesn't have to be knitting. And we're going to get started. The reason why this is a little bit earlier than we would normally be seeing each other. Yeah, that's still too hot. Is because I originally thought, okay, once a month, I'm just going to do it once a month because I'm not a very fast knitter. And I felt like I would just be showing the same thing in the same place if I did it every 2 weeks. And then I realized the last time I did a podcast, I couldn't remember half of the things that I wanted to tell you by the time I got to when I was supposed to podcast. So I did a little bit of thinking about it and thought, okay, maybe I should write some notes throughout the month, and that's entirely fine. I can do that. That's great. And then I was just delving more into why I was doing it once a month and thought, you know what? It's really a perfectionism problem. I want to hit these certain goals before I talk to you about it, which is silly because we're all, well, most of us who have chosen knitting as a hobby are working against perfectionism in our lives, whether that's perfectionism around how fast we knit, how well we knit, if our finished object is exactly how we dreamed it would be. We're all working with the best we can do in this moment in time with the skill level we have and the tools we have. So I thought, if I'm going to combat this perfectionism thing, then it would probably be best for me to just do what I think, what I would want another podcaster to do. If they were to just be honest about what they got done, and if they didn't work on every single thing during the 2 weeks, then whatever, that's real life. So that's why I'm here. I'm here early, but I'm excited to talk to you. I have one finished project. Well, no, two. I have two. One of them is a knitting project, though. One is knitting related. And I think that that's fine to have two. So I had a sewing day the other day. I am a sewist first. I've never really talked about that before, but I've been able to sew for a really long time, and it's just been a life skill for me. It hasn't really been like this creative outlet or like this really cool learning journey like knitting has been for me. So I don't sew very often anymore, just because I don't need to anymore very much. But I had these tea towels that were given to me, and you can see like the tea towels in their entirety, I think, in episode 1. And I have so many episodes, it's hard to keep track. So they were given to me by my grandparents-in-law, and they just are the most lovely people. And so I have these heirloom tea towels, and I wasn't using them because they are beautiful and I didn't want to stain them. So I made them into project bags so that I would be able to love them and see them and use them in a way that the that's the whole reason they gave them to me. So I followed the Bakery Bears Patreon tutorial. So this is the first one. Oh, this is the first one. This is the University of Oxford tea towel. And so it's got this zipper in there, and I lined it with some really light lining because I can't deal with black lining at all. I can't see anything. So I did probably 8. But that one and this one with these African violets on it. And these, like on the back, it has instructions on how to grow them. Isn't that great? While you're drinking tea, just learning how to garden. And then the last one that's a tea towel from them is this one that is the Songbirds of North America. And I just thought they turned out so well. I'm so happy with them. And I made a few more, and you'll see them as I pull projects out. I did my own little version of like a leather bottom. This is a faux leather thing, and I love it because it's super easy to sew through. Not every faux leather is that way, and this one is, and I got a ton of it at Hobby Lobby, I think, a long time ago, and so I used it for a few of them, and I really like it. This one I didn't use enough. I just wanted to make sure I could see like this fringe on there, but if I'm thinking about, I don't know, since it's lined, I don't want to tear it out. And so she has a tutorial for the drawstring bag and for the zipper bag, and I actually think I like the drawstring bag better. I really like the zipper bag. There's nothing wrong with that, but just the way that the drawstring bag is constructed, it's really cute. So I have another drawstring one and another zipper one. This one just is so tapestry-like. I really like that. And then this one I think turned out well with the bottom. Like it's bigger here. And then this one too. I really like this one. I've been working out of a lot. So now I have a ton of project bags, which is great because before this month I had this project bag and one other one that I had gotten from Hobby Lobby. And the one that I got from Hobby Lobby, I'm not the biggest fan of. It has all these open pockets in it, which is great because there's not zippers on it. It's not going to snag anything, but I kept like putting something in the bag and then looking in the bag and like having to look through the 8 pockets that were in there. It was so my first ever blanket that I put together that I don't know if I will ever finish is in that bag right now because I neither like the blanket nor the bag as much as my other things. So who knows if I will ever finish that. I really don't know. I was actually wondering that today, if I will ever finish that or not. But who knows? So during that sewing day, I did some mending and I made some bonnets for my dad's. It's just this country shop in Metamora, Indiana. It's the cutest thing. It's called the Village Smith. If you have a chance to go to Metamora, you should definitely visit there. My parents own an inn there and they have a shop there. So I made some bonnets for his shop before, and I had like my assembly line going, and then I didn't get all of them done in time, so I had a few partially assembled bonnets in our guest room, so I finished those up too, which is nice because now they're not on my brain anymore. But that's my first finished project, and I'm so happy to have the project bags. I know it's a luxury. I know it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. But I really was having trouble keeping things straight with supplies and things because honestly, I think I probably have too many whips going right now. So that's that. But this was my first and original project bag, and my son has just started watching Star Wars, and so every time he sees it, he goes, "Mom, that's Star Wars. And I'm like, yeah, buddy. So it is from a Stitchy Girl studio. I've showed it every time. I love it. It's really well made. And um, she put this starry fabric on the inside, which is super cute and easy to see things, which is nice. So I finished Janie's rainbow socks. Janie's birthday rainbow socks. They are already so well loved and so just, oh my goodness. They're like fuzzy on the bottom. She's been wearing them. She wore the first one for a few days until I got the other one done. She was just so excited about it. And I think they turned out so well. This is the Rye Light sock pattern from Tin Can Knits. I did not do the heel that they suggested though, but that's not because there's anything wrong with the pattern. It's because the rainbow yarn is not sock yarn. So I could have gotten nylon and just knitted with that together, and I've been thinking about doing that in the future so that I could turn anything into sock yarn. But I'm also wondering if that's even necessary. If I should just knit the socks and test if no nylon socks last a really long time. If you've done that, can you comment and tell me how that went for you? Because I am really interested to know what is the real difference between the life of a sock with or without nylon. But, so these, I love the pearl panels here. I was wondering if it was going to make them look weird, but I think it actually makes them a little more psychedelic, which is what she likes. So this is a mock short row heel. And the first time I did it, the first sock I did, there was some gappage on it, and I wasn't very pleased with it. Yeah, right there, you can see it, those holes there. And I wasn't really pleased with that. And so I realized later though, it was because I wasn't pulling it tight enough after I was done with each row. So, sorry, there's like little pieces of lint all over because she's just been wearing them so much. I'm so glad she loves them so much. And another thing that's really nice about this pattern, which I hadn't thought of until I was doing it, is this pearl panel. Since it's a free pattern, I'm just going to talk to you about it freely. There's 4 stitches on this side, right? On your front half, there's 4 stitches, your little panel, and then 4 stitches on this side. So it really gives you a good practice of if you're going to do a lace panel on a sock and how that would feel, and paying attention to where you're at, having your little stitch markers, things like that. I did a double thick cuff on it, little provisional. It's so stretchy. Watching her just like pull them on her feet, being rough with them. I love that they're just so hardy, that these socks are so hardy. So the cuff, heel, and toe is in a knitted wit yarn called Hot Pink, and the hot pink is spelled like this. Hot Pink. See that? And I thought that was great. That's from my local yarn shop. And this is from Hobby Lobby, and I think it's called Supernova. And it was perfect. She picked this out. This is so her. This is so her. So I'm really pleased with how they came out. I wasn't sure about doing a different kind of heel. I think with more practice I might like the mock short row heel more, but I've been really wanting to try the afterthought heel next, or forethought heel next. So I am going to be doing that on my next gifted pair of socks. So we'll see how that turns out. I did do the umbrella toe by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I just love her. I just absolutely love her. So I just use her stuff all the time. And she's just so cute. They're both just so cute. Love it. And it worked perfectly for this little kid sock. Of course, I started with a smaller amount of stitches and ended with a smaller amount of stitches, but it was perfect. The math worked out perfectly for it also. The next thing is whips, because that's my only knitted finished object. I like to call socks finished projects when I have both of them done, because technically one sock is a finished object. But whenever I hear people talk about one sock being their finished object, I'm like, but you're not gonna wear that one sock. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we acting like this is done? That's why second sock syndrome is a thing, because we're acting like this is done, and then you have to go do the other sock. But it technically is a finished object. You could wear it. And when I finished my first sock, I did. I was like little Janie. I just put it on while I was knitting my other sock. So anyway, that brings us really well into what I'm working with now. This is my first test knit ever, guys. I'm so excited about it. And I'm doing two at a time, as you can see, because I really do want them to be done at the same time so I can just put them on. These are called the Snowy Day socks. And if you follow Katie Anders Knits is her Instagram name. She is coming out with a new pattern called the Snowy Day socks. And they're so yummy. They're so cozy. Like, the name is perfect for them. So I got this from, oh, don't tell me I didn't put the thing in there. Oh, now I'm realizing. I got this at my local yarn shop. I have no idea what it is, what kind it is, because they caked it for me there because I don't have a Swift. And so when she learned that I didn't have a Swift, she was like, oh, well, I'll just cake it up for you here. And I was like, great. So she took the ball band off, and I didn't ask for it. I didn't even think about it. I always put my little ball band in the inside when I cake it up at home. But I didn't even ask her for it. So I don't know what it is, but it's beautiful. And maybe I'll take it back to the store and ask them what it is, because I'd like to be able to reference the company so that if you want it, you can find it. And this is the color work part. So you can see my little purples in there. This is a double cuff, and this is you can see the color work purples in there. So obviously when it's off the needles, it's going to be not as squunched together. And I loved working the color work on these. This is my first technical color work project. Like, obviously I've done striped things before, but this is my first color work project. This is my first test knit. I don't know if she knows this. I don't know if she knows. Maybe I just faked things well enough in my application that she was like, she knows what she's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanted to make them, and she said I was accepted, so I was really excited about that. So it's turning out really well, and the purple that I used is that yarn I got from the shop in Indiana, that really pretty purple tonal, the Gothic Queen colorway from Leading Gentlemen, is that it? Leading Men Fiber Arts is what it is, and it's called, the colorway is Gothic Queen, and this tonal purple is just like the most beautiful. Oh, I want to make a whole pair of socks out of this because it's just so great. So I am through the color work section for both of them, and there's another specific way to do the stitches for a little bit longer on the leg, and then you get to kind of sock recipe, stockinette, heel, foot, toe, so it's gonna be a minute, I think, until I get to the heel, because I really do want to do like one part on here and one part on here. So it will take me twice as long because I'm knitting on 2 socks at a time, but I'm really enjoying the process of 2 at a time. I really like it. It's it's been fabulous, and I'm glad that I'm sticking with it, because sometimes I get hyper focused and don't want to stop what I'm knitting on. And so eventually then I'm just done with one sock and I'm like, oh man, I was going to try 2 at a time this time. Shoot. And this time I actually am, which is nice. And next is my Cala Galdana from Heather and Hops, her pattern. This is so soft. Oh my goodness, it's so soft. It's so soft. Ooh, but it is finally, oh no guys, hang on. We've lost some stitches. It's okay, we're just gonna breathe. We're gonna breathe as we put everything back on the needles. Just breathe, everybody. It's okay. It's okay. Everything is fine. Okay. So, as I was saying, this is the Cali Galdona from, I think I'm saying that correctly. She's British and I'm American, so I don't think there would be much difference in how we would both say it, but who knows. So this is the back. So I'm holding it upside down. Obviously, it's worked top down. And I'm going to try and sort this out so you can see it better. Because obviously with all the stockinette, it's curling quite a bit. So this is the top, and you string a braided piece through here and through the back, and then it ties in the back. So you've got your armholes here. This is a tank top. So you've got your armholes here, and then I just joined it in the round here at the bottom. I've probably done 2 rows since joining it in the round. And I'm really pleased with it. It's so soft, and I'm really excited to wear it. I'm hoping I'll get it done before the last day of summer, but I think that's too high of an expectation. I probably won't get it done because I think the last day of summer is in a couple of days, and it's not gonna happen. But I need to keep knitting in stockinette until it is 5 inches shorter than I want the finished object to be. Here's my dilemma. I have no idea how baby llama yarn blocks out. I'm probably gonna have to go to my local yarn shop and ask them, like, this yarn that I got here, what is it gonna do? What is it gonna do? Because I want it to hit like my hip bone, and it's gonna have to make it over my belly to get there. And that's more than 5 inches. So I'm probably gonna have to knit for a while before I get to the bottom border. But the bottom border is really pretty, and I'm excited about doing it. It's not colorwork, it's but it is charted, so it's just different stitches that you have to do to make the pattern. And I'm loving knitting on that. It's so soft, and it's really nice to watch in the evening, to knit in the evening while we're watching a show together, my husband and I. And the other thing I've made some progress on is my Annie's Kit blanket. The last time we talked, right. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to slip these over so you can see it. I was knitting on this for a second while I was waiting for my girls to fall asleep, and then they fell asleep pretty quickly, so I didn't get very far, and I won't make you wait until I finish that round. Don't worry, I'll remember where I am. So I was in the middle of the linen stitch here, and it was so glacial. I didn't like it. I was surprised because I thought I really was going to like the linen stitch. It looks pretty cool. I think it looks neat. And it's not that complicated, like you're just moving your yarn back and forth as if you would be knitting and purling, which 1x1 rib is not exhausting to me. So I don't know. I don't know what my mojo was dealing with then in that moment, but I did not like it. And so it's supposed to be, this stripe is supposed to be 1.25 inches. I got to 1 inch and I measured it and I thought, okay, well that probably means I need to do 3 or 4 more rows. And I thought, no, I don't need to do that. I can just be done. So I did. I just decided to move on to the bubble stitch row, which is so fun. So fun. So I'm actually really glad I did that. I'll just have to add 1/4 of an inch to some other stripe that I like, which is fine. And I can see why everybody likes Stephen West's bubble stitch bubble cardigan. I can see why they like that, because this is, you're just doing your stockinette until you got to pull up the little bubbles, and it's so fun. And I really I didn't want to work on these for a while because I was a little bit burnt out, but I love the difference in texture on this. It's really nice. So I'm going to work on the other blankets soon too. I need to figure out how to get these bobbles to stay on the right side. I've heard of a couple ways you can do it, so I'm gonna look at them again and see which one I want to do. But yeah, I really, really like all the texture in it. It's just so nice. And I'm glad that I am learning things on this blanket instead of in some other projects. Like you can see my color work is kind of bunchy here. And I didn't know why that was when I was doing the blanket. I just thought, oh, colorwork must be bunchy. It's not. I was pulling things too tight. Or I probably should have gone up a needle size, which is what I learned with the Snowy Day socks. When I did the colorwork in a size, I went up a size for the colorwork part after the cuff, and it was so breezy. And when I was done with the colorwork, it looked so nice. And so I think that's just going to be my thing. My gauge is not loose. And so I think that's just going to be my go-to thing to do, is to go up a needle size when it's time to do colorwork, which is great to learn. So I'm going to keep going here. I've got 4 more stripes until I'm caught up with this one. They sent me my stripes 16 through 18 here, which is great. There's 30 stripes in the blanket. And I've just been like draping it over this chair like it's a finished thing. Like it's something I put over my lap when I'm, like it's done. When I knit on it, this happened today. When I knit on it, my girls love to come sit under it with me, which has been really cute. And both of them will sit on either side of me, and they'll like spread the, because it's all on the circular needles. So it's here, but then they'll take the corners and like spread it over them. And yeah, my littlest girl was like, Mom, you need to make it bigger. And I was like, I'm trying. Anyway, I do think it's funny though, in the instructions for the blanket, it continually says like, don't throw away any of the yarn. Like you're gonna need the yarn. If you don't use up all the yarn, don't throw it away. And I'm like, right. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I don't think anyway, but okay. But like, they just keep sending more yarn though with every instruction packet. And so I'm like, are you gonna stop doing that? Are you gonna stop? Because I think I'm good. I think I can finish it with this. Like, I think I'm good. And so yeah, I'm intrigued to see if I just have a ton of leftover yarn, which isn't my favorite, because it does say it's like this high quality acrylic yarn, but it's just It's just acrylic yarn, and which is fine. No yarn snobbery here. I was thinking today that maybe I could use it to make things for my kids, but still thinking over some of that. I'm gonna make sure that I don't miss anything this time around. Sorry, that's why I'm looking around. I did decide to frog my Jessie May Secret Little Crop, and here's why. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I thought I would, and I was still at the very beginning, and so I did not necessarily just want to push through. And I think what I would rather do is use that yarn for the unwind cardigan that I talked about last time. Cardigan? Yeah, cardigan. It's like it's so big. I hesitate to call it a cardigan. It looks so warm. So I'm going to use that for that project. And I think it'll be better because I was worried about the next to skin feel of that wool. I mean, it's super soft wool, but it's also wool. So, and with this baby llama yarn, even though it's way softer in my hands than the super soft wool, when I've been feeling it against like tender parts of my body, it's a little bit pokey. And so I've even been contemplating if that was the right yarn choice for that. At this point, I'm still going to do it with the Cali Galdana. We're just too deep into that. We're going to test it. And if I add sleeves to it, then great. That'll be beautiful. That, I believe, is the end of the things that I've worked on. Obviously, I have the other blankets, and my son, actually, it's this yarn here, this blue and orange yarn, wanted me to cake that up the other day because that is the yarn for his socks, and he wants me to cast his on next. And he's asked me for probably the last 3 days, Mom, can you make my socks now? And I'm like, yeah, I can make your socks, buddy, but I do want to finish the test knit first before I cast on his socks, so I should probably just get my rearing gear around that. Wanted to show you guys some cool things that I have acquired, and I'm not sponsored by anybody. Nobody sends me stuff to pitch, so this is all just stuff that I've purchased that I really like that I want you to see. Well, with the exception of one yarn that I won actually at the first knit night that I ever attended on Thursday. So that's exciting, but obviously that wasn't like a sponsor thing. If that should ever happen in the future, I'll definitely let you know. But for now, we're just talking about stuff that we like to buy. And if you are a maker and you want me to show people what you make, feel free to message me. I will show it. I don't care how little your business is, how like what type of knitting accessory thing you sell or yarn you sell. I would love to look over it, give it an honest review, and I would love that. So if that's something you're interested in, go over to Instagram. My handles for Instagram and Ravelry are also in the description box, and send me a message. So the first thing I wanted to show was there's this pattern that I am really excited about, and it just brings all the autumnal vibes with it, and they're called the Caramel Sauce. Sorry, I'm putting this ball band back in here before I forget. The Caramel Sauce Socks. Socks to warm the soul. Isn't this just... oh, so good. Here's why I'm excited about it. I love all the autumn things in the first place, but this lace pattern here, I was watching the woman who makes them talk about it, and it is super stretchy. The lace pattern is super stretchy because it's somehow also a rib. So I'm really intrigued to knit these up. And I'm not sure. The pattern is by Joji Locatelli. I know Joji is how you say her first name, but Locatelli is what it looks like her last name is. If you go to jojiknits.com, you can get, she's also on Ravelry, but I figure from her website she probably gets, more money from you buying the pattern there. So that's why I got it there instead of on Ravelry. And I'm really excited about these. I think they're just going to be really cool to lacy, stretchy socks. I mean, come on. That's going to be great. And I also found a solution to my little kid knit-worthy problem. So for a lot of knitters, including myself, there's this dilemma where you want to make things for your children, right? But either they will grow out of them quite quickly, which in my case isn't that big of a deal because I have several children, so it'll just kind of make its way down through the children and it's fine. But also, like, children are pretty hard on clothes. I'm pretty hard on clothes, and so I want to make sure that it's something that isn't going to fall apart or get all felted if it's not supposed to be felted and things like that. And with socks, my kids all want me to make them a pair of socks, which, I mean, come on. These are adorable. They're so cute, right? And they're somewhat stretchy, so they're going to fit her for quite a hot minute, right? But with my little two kids, I was like, I don't know if I want to make you socks because I don't want you to grow out of them in, 6 months, which is fine for them to do, right? But there's these baby tube socks, and I think Ellie's Magic House was talking about them. Someone had gifted a pair of them to her for her baby. She's pregnant. And they're just these, there's no heel on them. They're just twisted. And so they continue to fit the baby because it just keeps getting wider as they grow. So that's awesome. And there are sizes from 1 to 3 months up to 12 to 18 months. And I think I'm going to do the 12 to 18 months socks for my son and see how well they fare, like how well they fit and everything, because she even had them on these sock blockers, and then when they were on the sock blockers, they just looked like regular socks. Like you couldn't tell there wasn't actually a heel knitted in there. So I am super curious about this. I think it's going to be really cool. Really cool. And then, this is the thing I'm most excited about. I just signed up for the mystery cal for Stephen West's Shawlography of 2021. Guys, it's such a cool idea. I think it's so cool. I've been looking at the color choices, like the color palette choices that he suggests. Of course, you can choose whatever you want, and they are definitely sold out of the yarn kits at this point. So if you were hoping to get one, it sounds like they're trying to get more, but who knows? So here is, they were showing like differences of yarn choices you could make, and I'm really excited about color choices here. I am more of a low contrast person over here, but I think I'm going to push what I would normally go with, because I think that higher contrast would do the shawl more justice. And I've never knit a shawl before. In all honesty, I've been like, why do people do shawls? Like, I don't really get it. But I'm gonna knit a shawl. and we'll see if I just absolutely love it and have been judging it even though I love it, which it could very well be the case, because that has happened in my life so many times. I've literally lost count that I have judged somebody for something, and then like the next year I'm like, this is the best thing ever, did you know about this? And then probably someone else is judging me about it. But it happens to me all the time. And you would think that would mean I should stop judging people for stuff, right? You would think that. But I'm having a hard time. Having a hard time stopping, because I don't, yeah. I'm going to have to keep thinking on that. Okay, now we're to acquisitions. And this is the part I wanted to tell you about. First, I'm going to talk to you about these cute stitch markers. I actually got these in the mail today, and they're so cute. I love them. There are, I'm going to hold my hand against them so you can see them. They're like these shiny maple leaves and these pine cones. Maybe I can get it to be like very prettily set up, but maybe not. I'm gonna try here. Whoop. There we go. So they're these really pretty, oh, it's so shiny. Can you see it? These pretty maple leaves. I'm so excited to put them on my stuff. They're so fall-y. So fall-y. I think that orange one is probably my favorite. And I just got them in today. And I've not had non-removable stitch markers before. All of mine have like a little clasp on them or something. And I didn't even notice that these didn't. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think they're going to just be just right. I think it's going to be great. Yeah, I think it's going to be so great. Very excited to start using those. We'll just put them right here. Nope, they're going to go down. So, the next thing, I got this today in the mail too, is the Knitter's Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters. I'm excited about this, mostly because I feel like I only know what I've already done. And being able to see the differences in design, like you can see, they're just even showing like the different construction of what you would be doing top down, and that's fantastic. That's fantastic. And it's not necessarily top down sweaters that have like 0 seams or anything on them, or that are all entirely in the round, it looks like. But I'm very excited about it, especially because my children often ask me to make them things, and I could go buy, what, a million patterns, or I could know, because I already kind of know what works for them and their little selves, or what they like, and just look it up and make it, which would be great. And then there are a bunch of patterns in this book, right? So this book is $22, right? Which is not bad for a book in general of instructions, but to also have sweater patterns in it, that's just, to me, that's the best way to do it. Because I'm also going to be referring back to this. I am a reference junkie. And so I often print out my patterns, even though I usually use my Knit Companion app on my phone. But I often print them out, as you like with the ones here, because I am a reference junkie. I like to know that I have it here with me, because eventually I'm going to need to make space on my phone, and all of that. So the last thing is this hank of yarn. Oh my goodness, the color just picks up so prettily. It's so pretty. It's alpaca yarn. And there's, I don't know if you can see it. There's some, there it is. There's like little bits of yellow in there. And I really like it. It's so pretty. And I won it. I won it at the first knit night that I went to at my local yarn shop on Thursday. And you know what's funny is I saw on Instagram my younger sister also had her own knit night this week, and so I feel like we're living parallel lives, and we both had a fabulous time. I think what I'm gonna do with this, just a second, backing up. We both had a fabulous time. If you have people in person that you knit with, count yourself blessed, because I had no idea. I've never been knitting with another person. I've knit around people before. I've been doing my knitting around people, but to have 6 or 7 people in a circle, just like, what are you knitting? What are you knitting? What yarn are you using? Wow, yeah, I can see why you went up that needle size. Like, nobody has to translate anything. You're just all talking about what you're doing, and everyone can appreciate what's happening. Oh, it was so great. It was so great. And no one has to worry about if they're talking about knitting too much. You know? Like, nobody has to worry about that. So anyway, at my local yarn store during knit night, what they do is the yarn walk. And you walk around this circle. They have numbers on the floor. And you go around, and they stop the music, and you stop, and whatever number you're on, they do like this kind of bingo ball roll. And then whatever number comes up, if you're standing on it, you get a prize. And I won. And so I got this alpaca yarn. It's beautiful. It's so soft. It's so soft. And I think I'm going to make some flip top mitts for my mother, because I remembered recently that I, in college, decided that she didn't wear them very much and I did. And so it's probably better if I just wore them, because just took them. I just took them. And she was probably like, where are my mittens? Like, so silly. So, and while I was at knit night, a girl who was there who I'd never met before, who was lovely, gave me the best idea for a Christmas gift for my mother. The best idea. I'm so excited to knit them up. I'm so excited. It's not the mitts. The mitts are for her birthday. My mom has a December birthday. But for Christmas, I have this great idea. This is so soft. I can't put it down. It's so good. And I've never knit with alpaca before, so I'm really excited about that. I've heard it's super warm. So I'm deciding, I think I've just decided I'm going to make her the mitts, because I need to atone for my stealing. Stealing, it's just stealing. I was going to try and think of a better word, but it's just stealing. And maybe I'll make a pair for myself so that I don't steal anyone else's again. Prevention is the key. So that's it for tonight, or this morning if you're watching in the morning. Thanks for joining me again. Yeah, I think I'm gonna see how this 2-week thing goes for a while, and you let me know what you think about it. I've been thinking about also doing a giveaway, not for a certain amount of followers or anything, but just because you guys are so great and so helpful, and your comments are so nice. And I was gonna do a project bag, like make a project bag, and put some stuff in it and see who wins it. So we'll probably do that next time. Yeah, next time. So if you want to be entered into the giveaway, just go ahead and comment here on the comments for this video. Anything. Comment anything you want to say. And I'm just so excited to talk to you guys today. And I'm excited to go back to knit night the next time. I'm going to be going every other week is the plan. I wish I could go every week. But I have a church event that I go to on every other Thursday night. So every other Thursday night, I'm going to be going to church. Every other Thursday night, I'm going to be going to knit night. And either way, it's going to be good for my soul. So see you next time.